Well, hello, First United Methodist congregants. I'm Pete Mackin, the new director of the Salvation Army Service Extension. Just some background, I previously worked in the Houghton area as a TV6's Houghton Hancock Bureau reporter, and most recently I partnered with Michigan Tech on an overseas environmental engineering background. The Salvation Army brought me up here to transition the facility from a chapel with the officers in uniforms that you're used to seeing to a pure service extension, which means we're focused entirely now on providing services in the community. And so we will be in a transition phase this first year. We've been doing a lot of changes, moving things around. You've probably noticed that if you've stopped by. But we're excited to be able to serve the community alongside all the faith community in the area, work with other groups. We're already setting up connections with Love Inc., St. Vincent de Paul, the Angel Mission, different 12-step groups. So we're just going to be walking through our facility here. I'll talk you through the programs and let you know what we're planning on doing in the future and how your support has been already so helpful and things that you can get involved with coming up in the future. And in my background, I've worked in the past when I lived in Marquette. I worked with community corrections. We helped with recovery programs. We helped establish the Alno Club in Marquette. We created sober programs, euchre tournaments, sober dances, outings, pairing up, lonely seniors who wanted to go fishing with young timers who wanted to have something to do that was productive. So those are the types of things that I'm already discussing with our 12-step community here. We are going to restart our what once was a very popular and well-attended 12-step meetings. I believe that's on Thursday nights once the COVID regulations go down. But we're looking to find a group. If someone in the congregation is a sponsor or has experience in the program, I am looking for a network of veterans in recovery that can work with me on people who have that special need. I also worked quite a bit with aging services in Marquette. We reformed Marquette's Commission on Aging. We streamlined how we were doing the structure of the county senior programs so that more money and more effort went towards actually directly providing services to seniors. In my discussions with Little Brothers and with the Copper Country Meals on Wheels, that's pretty much been what we're doing. We're doing congregate meals, we're doing Meals on Wheels, and a few activities. One of the things that has made Marquette attractive to a lot of seniors coming in and helped the seniors we do have not be isolated or be forced into assisted living earlier than necessary are the programs. And so people, in order to have programs, you need people. And so things we've done were the chore services, homemaker, adult daycare, respite for people who are caring for people with, say, Alzheimer's or things like that. There is funding available. There are programs the state and feds and groups like Salvation Army, other churches have available. I would like to work with the senior community to try to get those going here as well. And then finally, I worked quite a bit with regional planning over the years, addressing some of the barriers to economic fairness, having a greater ability to help people transition from, say, lower paying jobs or unable to find work to middle income housing. So that's another thing that I've already been working with. I was formerly a member of Hancock's DDA. And so we're still working on trying to, as a community, to help there be a transition from coming out of a challenge and then being able to grow into a member of the community who's able to give back. And so we were talking about options for encouraging developers to bring in better housing. But in our case here specifically, today we'll be talking about those people who are most in need, who are in crisis, who are most hurting. And those are the people that we all as a faith community are commanded to love and to help and to give a hand up. So I'm going to take you through the community to the center here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing right now. Okay, well, this is one of our what was a Sunday school room / nursery. We have 3 of these rooms here in our gym, and what we're thinking right now, we're still putting the proposal to our Salvation Army supervisors down at central headquarters. But I put together with a group a proposal to try to transition these rooms into what I'm calling crisis shelters. Not a homeless shelter or a permanent shelter, but basically what we've been doing is taking people who are out on the street. I've had already this year, Christmas Eve, we had a young mother of a 2-month-old literally dropped off at our doorstep with everything she had and just said nowhere to go. And so we've been putting them into hotel rooms, myself and other groups in the area, and that's posed a bit of a problem in that we don't really have control of the situation, I guess is the best way to put it. In that case, it worked out okay with the mother. We were able to get her into housing with a lot of her support. But in other cases, if somebody's struggling with addiction or calls up a boyfriend or girlfriend, they end up using at the facility or something like that, there's been a bit of a struggle with the hotels and the businesses. So in this case, we would have beds here available. We're looking for volunteers that we'll train to be able to take their bags. They'll take out what they need for the night. We'll have volunteers here overnight who will be trained in things like de-escalation techniques. I have friends again in community corrections and psychology, different groups that can help us basically be safe from harm. It's a program that Salvation Army has, a Safe from Harm program, to make sure that we're protecting vulnerable adults, kids, things like that. So our volunteers would be trained and certified to be able to be here on call. So at a particular week, you would be on call. We would have a case come in where somebody had a fire or somebody's out on the street, and they would come in and we would check them in and lock away their bags for the night, minus what they need, so that they don't have any issues if there are any weapons or drugs or anything like that. Most of the time, that isn't an issue. But we would basically be able to take in these clients, give them shelter for a night or two, and in our facility, which I'm about to go over, we'll have all kinds of resources to help them where they're at. But for the meantime, we're looking to put quotes together and get estimates to transition these into little apartments, and I'll show you here in the gym. If we had a major shelter, so part of the Salvation Army's role also is emergency response. And again, I've also served in that role in my previous jobs. And so if we had a major disaster here, if we had like the floods that we had a few years ago, or a major pipe break or fires, I would like to eventually perhaps seek out support to be able to get temporary cots so we could have a mass shelter facility in the area, which would be great. That, God willing, will never happen, but it's still nice to know that it's available if it does. But in the meantime, with the gym itself, there's already been different groups of getting kids involved to be able to have programs, beanbag toss. If you've got games that you think would be appropriate in the gym here, whether it's old toys or old like beanbag toss or ladder ball or hula hoops, things like that, we're looking for those donations for games for kids to come in. We've got a lot of lower-income families that are looking for a place. They can't afford the SDC. They can't afford to go other places. We did have one idea, which we'll see if it works out. A friend of mine who owns Downwind had talked about maybe even building a small rock climbing wall to train people in how to do adventuring. Again, something that gives a positive morale building and physically fit thing for kids to do. We do have the ability to show shows here, which again could be great. I know a lot of my friends have been getting into that new series, The Chosen, which is a wonderful series talking about the followers that were around Christ. It'd be great to show movies like that or other throws for kids. But let me walk you through the rest of the facility, and we'll talk some more about what we're going to do. Okay, and we still have a commercial kitchen. Again, I actually, years ago, worked as maintenance man in a kitchen. So we still have our frozen and refrigerated goods that we're giving out in our food pantry. We are doing our food pantry. We do quite a few families every week. Again, that support has been, that's probably the biggest thing I do every week is work with families on food assistance. And for a lot of, especially seniors with disability who are on fixed incomes or people who are trying to get back on their feet as they're coming out of recovery or out of correction, it's critically important. A lot of them, they don't have any other support, or their support is literally, it's amazing how important that food is. That's a basic need that I think really demonstrates just our care and our love for their help. And it's amazing. Sometimes you guys bring special treats. I had a lady today who we had a frozen bag of strawberries, and she was so happy to get that one special thing. So as as we donate, I always think as we're giving, whether it's financially or things, I think, well, maybe this turkey I'm giving is going to be, the turkey that's going to bring this family together this holiday season, or maybe like it's today, that little bag of strawberries that somebody brought is going to just bless somebody's heart like it did. So as we give, just prayerfully think in faith, like how can this small gift bless somebody, like the fish and the loaves with the young boy in the Bible. But our plan, again, we can still do meals here as we have people in recovery. We'll have people helping with meals as they're here in the morning for breakfast. I've got a couple of people who have restaurant experience are already volunteering who can help out, line cooks and a couple restaurant owners. Some people have talked about maybe wanting to do cooking classes for young families who maybe grew up without that training or just want to eat healthier. So really anything for you cooks out there, hopefully as the restrictions get loose, we'll have some opportunities to show what you're made for. And if you're good at making bread, I always get requests for bread. And so, again, that would be something that would be great to be able to make here. And then moving over to our next other room. Again, this will again be where we hold AA meetings, but we're also, I've also got some people who have been through abuse, for instance, who have talked about wanting to have a young Beauty for Ashes study for ladies who've been through abuse and are trying to recover from it and come out of it. The trauma that involves. It's so good to be able to talk about it with other people who've been through it and to, again, search the scriptures and search each other for support and guidance. And then that good group of friends. Sometimes when families break up or relations break apart, you're left without a good, solid group of friends. Or maybe if you're getting recovery, you don't have a good group to hang out with. So we're hoping that we'll be able to have programs, whether it's character training for kids to help families to be able to teach their kids about how to have different life skills growing up that maybe they weren't taught as kids, or just setting boundaries. And also our Pathway of Hope program that we do here. We will coach different people who are trying to transition out of where they were, and we'll work on them with getting different job skills. I'm partnering right now with Michigan Works. We have computer stations set up in our lobby here, where people can get help with unemployment, do their Michigan Works things. I've been trained now and certified by the state as a My Bridges navigator and referral partner. So they're sending me people that I can help with all of their DHHS needs, whether it's help getting food stamps, help getting a new license, figuring out their unemployment or job searching. We're already working with the state on these. Salvation Army also trained me to work with the energy assistance program that the state does. So there's a small fee on every bill that you have for your energy bills. That money is set aside. The largest chunk of that money is set aside specifically for the Salvation Army to assist people with when a furnace goes off or they can't pay to keep the heat on or their lights on. And that is probably next to the food assistance, the next most important thing I do up here, especially in the winter. This winter was especially hard for people, and so we had a lot of cases where we stepped in, and again, with your support, we were able to turn a disabled couple's furnace back on that was broken. We partnered with different businesses in the area who helped us at cost, things like that. We also help with other general things like somebody's trying to get to work and they're on a fixed income, have kids, single parent, and their brakes go. What do they do? So I've already talked with the ISD eventually about trying to get a program where maybe we can donate support for parts so the students can help fix people's cars who are struggling to get those fixed. When that unexpected emergency happens, it busts your budget. And so that and really a lot of other ideas I'm looking to come from you as congregants. There might be something on your heart. There might be a program that you're interested in saying, I really feel led to help in this area. If you're, want to be good at hiking and going out and about, I would love to have a program, where we maybe have at-risk youth working on trail improvement programs with some of the trail people I know, or just going out fishing. When I was younger, I worked in a street ministry in a gang neighborhood downstate in Grand Rapids, and I was surprised that one of the most effective ministry tools was to just bring these, again, meth addicts, gang members, former prostitutes, we just brought them along with us when we were doing things, living. We brought them fishing. We played Frisbee golf, things like that. And it was amazing how powerful that was, just including these people equally into our lives without discrimination. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping that this eventually grows into, as a faith community, that as we're living our lives and doing the things that bless us and bless others, maybe your kids have moved out of the area or are all grown up, or maybe, you're a kid who wants to do fun, productive things and wants to bring somebody along. We're really looking forward to bringing that group together through this facility, again, so that those who are really under attack, who are really facing some of life's toughest challenges, some of the stories are literally heartbreaking every day when I work on them. And at the same time, it is such a message of joy that God gets the glory for when you see those people restored and you see that they're on the path that he wants them on. I don't know whether this person I'm helping is the next Billy Graham or the next Einstein or the next Mozart. Those gifts that God put in each of us, there's a purpose for each one of us. Our fulfillment is fulfilling the call that we were made for on this earth. And that's what we're really trying to do, is love people into wholeness. And so I guess just to close up, we will still be doing our kettle programs. This year was a miracle of God. We had the core would have normally raised, I thought was impossible. We had a couple of ringers. Most of my seniors, most of my students were gone. We had about half of the places we could ring at. And yet we actually exceeded slightly the goal that the core had for here from before. So that's just a testament to how giving this community is and how wonderful they are. And that need has been, greater this year. So it's just been such a blessing to see God providing. When we step forward and say, yep, I want to serve God and help my neighbor, he'll provide. And we give him all the glory for that. Finally, I also wanted to mention that we're already working with Finlandia and Michigan Tech. There's a group called the Husky Helpers. We're trying to put together different service projects for kids. So if you have some ideas, one thing that I've got already going is a group of young guys. We're calling it Shovel Love. So there are widows in the area and other seniors who maybe can't afford to or have had problems in the past getting roofs cleaned or shovels, walks shoveled. We're hoping that we'll try it out for what snow is left of this year, but maybe next year really have a good program so we can have a small army of husky boys coming around and gals coming around shoveling out snow for those seniors that are at risk. But also those those kids help me out quite a bit with the bell ringing. And I'm thinking those are also those students, as they're in our community, they also can be great role models for our youth. I'm not very cool and hip to hang out with, high schoolers and middle schoolers. But when we have really good, faith-focused college students, they're cool to hang out with. And they like going rock climbing and fishing and stuff. So we're hoping that, again, as we temporarily get these wonderful future engineers and nurses and teachers in the area, that we can, both show them welcoming community as they're here and bring them into our faith group, but at the same time that they can also, in their time here, help us to meet some of these special needs and prepare themselves for the future leaders that are going to be in our area and in the country and the world. Again, I'm always open if you want to stop by and talk or just give me a call if something's on your heart that you want to be involved in, or if you even want to give me some background on what you've experienced in the past here, or some ideas you have for the future. I am always open to both instruction and correction and ideas. So again, just thank you again so much for all of you've done for this area. Your church has been so active and such a wonderful neighbor, making me feel welcomed in a very challenging situation. But I look forward to working with you all, getting to know you all as we transition the Salvation Army into something that I think will bless us all.